What's going on, people? Welcome back to the player ratings as we discuss the 1-0 defeat against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. As always, we want to know your ratings, so leave them below in the comment section. And also, if you did enjoy the video, make sure to smash the like button and subscribe to not miss out on future Palace content. Patrick, let's not waste any time. Let's jump straight into it with the goalkeeper. Vicente Guaita, we've given him a 7. We lost the game, but I felt like he had a relatively good game. I feel like this game was massive for him after what happened against Southampton. It was absolutely dreadful, with one of his worst performances I've seen at Palace. But if it wasn't for him, we could have conceded a few more goals. I feel he made some very good saves. Of course, the goal that we conceded, I don't think it was his fault. And overall, he proved why he should still be the number 1, even though some people wanted Sam Johnson to start.
Yeah, it was important that he bounced back today. He had 4 saves. Made a very, very, very good save. A couple of really good saves, and I've looked back at the goal, and I don't see what he could have done differently. I mean, that's more on our defenders, but no, he bounced back. I still would like to see Jonathan at some point, but not based on today. He played fine today.
Yeah. Nathaniel Klein, you gave him a 5. I gave him a 6. I thought he had a relatively solid game today. He wasn't really targeted as much in the first half. I feel like they went down Mitchell's side more often than not. Joachim Andersen, the centre-half that got subbed off because of an injury, Patrick. But before the injury, I thought he was having a very solid game. He looked very good at the back today. And maybe that contributed to it. Maybe if Joachim is there with that set piece, could we have done better? I'm not too sure. But look, I thought he was having a good game. And then, of course, it changed. But it wasn't really that change that contribute to the loss. I don't think we were still all right defensively, and they had chances with Joachim as well, but he looked pretty solid at the back. Mark Gahey, 6.5 from me, 5 from you. How come you gave him such a lower rating than me?
I can't remember why. I don't even know why I gave it. You know what? It's just frustration of the loss in general. I don't think he played that poorly. I just don't think anybody. I don't think any of our defenders were outstanding today. But we'll only give up a goal. I guess I could have given him a 6. To be honest with you, I'm not even sure why. I guess I was so in a blur and a fog from when Anderson went off. I just thought that Gahey's performance dropped off. He probably got better when he learned off. So I'll change that, amend that to a 6. He actually had a pretty solid game.
Tyreek Mitchell, he's back from a suspension. He's had a rocky season so far. You gave him a 5. I gave him a 6. I thought we saw glimpses of the old Tyreek back today. He was decent going forward. He puts balls into the box at times. There were moments in the first half that, as I said, Chelsea were targeting his side, and they did get in behind a few times. But then again, we know that he's had a rocky patch this season. He's coming off not playing 3 games as well. So you expect a bit of rustiness. But overall, there were more positives than negatives in his game today. And if he builds on this performance, slowly, we could potentially see the old Tyreek back. I saw the positives that I've seen in previous times when Tyreek was playing good for us. And hopefully this is the start. You know, he had this mini break once again with the red cards. He had time to evaluate performances. And today, going forward, he was decent. Defensively, he wasn't too bad either.
Yeah, I also forgot, you know, again, like Gahey, again, sometimes you have to give ratings out after the game. You get kind of emotional. Mitchell deserves a 6. He also almost scored a goal in that first half, and Kepa made a great save on him. The only thing I remember is that a lot of times Gallagher on the right was targeting, or not targeting, but was getting a lot to the byline on that left side and making a lot of crosses. I don't know if that was a tactic that the manager decided to do, but Gallagher on their right, our left, was targeting Mitchell. I don't blame them. He hasn't played well this season. He's been out for 3 matches, but I think he deserves a 6, not a 5. I take that back.
Decore in midfield, 7.5 from you, 7 from me. Look, he could have been sent off today, potentially, if you look at the challenges he put in, and maybe we were lucky in that aspect. But I feel like there was a reason for that. And the reason was he just has so much to do in that midfield, just carrying us. And for the love of God, just bring in another midfielder that could play alongside him. But despite that, Patrick, he still had a very decent game. I just feel sorry for him because he has so much to do.
Yeah, I thought he does the work of 2 players, sometimes 3 in that midfield. Progressively getting the ball forward. A couple of times he get the ball turn and go forward. Had a great shot. I mean, what a great save by Kepa. Any other keeper or any other time that probably goes in. I mean, and he doesn't shoot that often. I just thought he played really well today. I mean, I agree with you, but again, yes, we need another midfielder, but he needs help because it's amazing to me how much further he can go with someone next to him that can actually help him out by getting the ball forward, passing with him, interchanging, marking better, etc. But I thought he played really well today. I really do.
Yeah. Moving on to the midfielder next to him, Jeffrey Schlupp. You gave him a 4, I gave him a 5.5. Look, we talk about him pretty much every week. For me, he had some good moments. I don't think he had a horrible game, but look, I think we could do better there in terms of someone who can contribute on both ends of the pitch in midfield. And today he had his moments, a few times pointing tackles. There was a few times where I was frustrated. He was just kind of watching the ball and missed the play at times running past him. But yeah, look, it's a typical performance, I think, from.
But I want to add something in our previous stream we did, or when we did the post-match reaction. Someone in the chat had mentioned, and I must have missed that. When I watched the game, I thought Decore didn't jump for the goal on Havertz, but he's saying to me, maybe the British feed, English feed, they said that Schlupp was the player that didn't jump. Now, I will say they were both next to Havertz on the goal. Yeah. So, I mean, for me, you can put it on Decore, put it on Schlupp. So, but that's the only thing. I mean, again, he didn't play poorly today, but he just wasn't. He just has to do more. So,
yeah. Moving on to the right-hand side of the midfield. Well, it depends on what moment of the game you're talking about. You gave him a 5.5, Patrick. I gave him a 7. I thought Elise had a very good game today. Not very good game. I thought he had a good game, and I feel like he was our most dangerous attacker on the pitch. He took on Hall at times, and he took on their fullbacks, tried to cut in, tried to put balls into the box. I thought he was actively involved, and at times he probably needed a bit more support around him. And, you know, if you're looking at all of our attackers today who started the game, I thought Elise was the main man going forward. And just like we say with Decore, maybe he needs a bit more help, or whether that's with a fullback that overlaps a bit more often, that supports him, whether that's a midfielder going alongside him. But overall today, I have no complaints about Elise's performance. How comes you wasn't really a fan of his performance?
I think I'm at the point where I need him to do a little bit more. Now, as I said before, I don't like him as a 10. So a lot of my rating was based on him starting as a 10. When he went out wide, he was much, much better. I just felt like he could have attacked Hall and Badiashile a lot more. Hall's 18 years old. Badiashile was starting his first game today. Just be more aggressive going at him. Having said that, D, you're absolutely right. He definitely was our most creative player. He definitely got involved more. He also had a great shot that Kepa made a save on in the first half. So again, I just want more, but it's not about Michael Elise. It's about the team. So, you know, when you don't have enough good players, you want the good players to do better. That's my thing. So I take it back. That should at least been a 6. So you're right about that.
Moving on to Ebbs, 4.55 from me. Look, he's been, I want to say struggling. Well, maybe you could use the word struggling with his performances as of late in terms of good contribution. I've seen some people say that he's lazy. I don't agree with that, but I've seen more people say that recently than not. I don't know if it's just laziness. Look, Eze shouldn't play out wide.
Exactly.
That's the first thing. He shouldn't play out wide. So if you want to see the best out of Eze, he should play through the middle. And in today's game, putting him out wide, especially in the first half, sometimes I forgot that he was even on the pitch because he wasn't involved. And it goes down to playing him in the right position. But even when you do play him in the right position, for example, in the second half, Patrick Vieira did sub him off. I'll get your thoughts on that, whether you thought that was the right decision. Still, he could do a bit better in terms of creativity. You know he's got it in him. But yeah, I don't think he was as creative enough today. And at the first half, he just wasn't as involved. And second half, he just didn't do much.
Yeah, I'm with you. Playing out wide, it just takes away what he's good at, which is being involved in the ball in the game. He had 24 touches in 69 minutes. He had 12 out of 17 accurate passes. That's just not good enough. And again, just like Elise, he's got to do more now. I take it back. Elise did play well in retrospect, but Eze wasn't involved. He got more involved and moved into the 10, into the middle, but he has to do more. And again, the sub, I didn't have a problem with the sub because he took off him and Ayew, and Schlupp. I don't know what's he going to take off. You can take off Zaha. We can get to Zaha later on. Zaha have a great game, no, but Zaha can score. He's got most goals on our team so far. So I just thought Eze could do more. But again, part of it is the positioning, man. Don't play him as a wide play. He's just not effective. Get him in the middle where he get more touches on the ball.
Yeah. Moving on to Jordan Ayew, 6.5 from you, 6 from me. Look, for me, I don't think he had a bad game. But as I said, I feel like him playing actually damaged some of our chances going forward. I thought him playing led to Wilf playing up top, which I don't agree with, which we'll talk about. You saw Eze playing out wide, where Eze should be playing in this position. So he kind of messed things up in that aspect. And also him playing well and being aggressive. I understand that there's positives to it, but there reaches a certain point where you just need more quality from a Premier League starter. He's a starter. He has been so far this season. He doesn't have the production levels. Look, I don't think he had a particularly bad game, but still, going forward, I wouldn't start Jordan Ayew. It's as simple as that, because we need to move on from this. We need to, for me, it would have been Edouard. Edouard starts, Eze through the middle, Wilf out wide, and let everyone play in a position. If it doesn't work out, then fair enough. Then you change about. But just let everyone play in the original positions. And I feel like Ayew, I might be sounding harsh, but Ayew led to everyone playing out of position in a way.
You know what? My rating is too high. Probably should have been a 5.5. And you know what, D, what you just said is, you're 100% correct. I agree with you. I agree.
Moving on to Wilf now. I said my piece on Wilf already. I gave him a 5. You gave him a 6.5. I don't think he's a striker by himself. Not in this system. Not under Vieira, how it works. We've had a few games with him playing up front. Today, it made no sense. I'm not even saying this because we lost. It made no sense starting him up front because he's our best player. He is our best player on this pitch. Him starting up front, majority of the time, leads to him not getting good touches where he can damage opponents. He's the man that's leading the line. But that's not Wilf. He's either good playing out wide or play him as like a number 10. Play him the role that Ayew played today. He needs to get on the ball. Today, he didn't get on the ball as much. And when he did, it was so easy to just take the ball off him because it wasn't in good positions. It's not a position that flourishes in. And yes, Wilf has scored a lot of goals this season, but majority of them, I'm thinking on top of my head, has come out from him playing out wide, cutting inside. It's not him starting up front. Him starting up front hasn't worked out this season, so I don't know why we keep doing it. That's my stance on it, anyways.
Yeah, I mean, we had discussion on the other show. I mean, he's our leading goal scorer, but at this point, listen, you're right. Just put him out wide and leave Edouard up front for the next 7-8 games and see what happens. It's not going to happen, by the way. But listen, I'm really just tired of discussing the whole point about who should play up front. So let it be Edouard and go from there. So.
Yeah. Moving on to the bench, Tompkins, you gave him 4.5. I give him a 6. Even though I didn't want him to start, I don't think he should start. Not a start, sorry, coming off the bench. He felt like he started. Coming off the bench, I feel like it should be Richards. I don't think he had a particularly bad game. There wasn't much that he done wrong, but for me, Richards should be ahead of him.
I agree with that. I've got to believe he's playing because of his quote-unquote experience. The only negative I have about him today, that's why I gave him 4.5. He was actually pretty solid defensively, but he's supposed to win headers, right? So on that short corner routine, I noticed that he was at the front post, and there was probably zonal marking. There was no Chelsea player there. He's the tallest player on the pitch there because he's taller than Ayew, than Gehi, than Mitchell, than Schlupp, and Havertz wins the header over the Corey, who's very short, and Schlupp. I thought he should be in the middle, but that aside, he didn't play terribly. But I'm with you, man. If Richards can't play, send him back to Germany because this is getting ridiculous.
Will Husey came on. He didn't really have that much to do when he did come on. There was nothing in particular for me to talk about him. Moving on to Edouard. Once again, pretty mediocre. You gave him a 4, I gave him a 5. And
5
Mateta,
is fine. Yeah,
Mateta. The less I say, the better it is, in all honesty.
But here's the thing, D, just in general about our subs, they're not impactful. I thought the subs were good. Yeah, I mean, we're bringing on subs that we think, 2 of them we think we want to start, right? Hughes and Edouard. Yeah, 25 or 20 minutes. Show something. I know it's difficult, but Edouard's come on in the past, long time ago, a year ago, by the way, a year and a half, when he scored against Spurs, the 2 goals. Make an impact, because I'm telling you, if you make an impact, you're going to play, right? And they come on, they just do this much of a muchness. It's the same thing I've already seen before. I'm not blaming them, but if they want to really play, you've got to show more. But today it wasn't about the subs, man. They came on and they just did nothing, and none of them. So
exactly. Well, look, let us know what you guys think, whether you agree or disagree with us with your player ratings in the comment section down below. If you have enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to not miss out on future content. That's it from me. I'm Patrick. We will be back next week discussing another defeat. And until next time, up the palace.